Peace, family. So I'm back with another one. Today what I wanted to do was I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about understanding how to live and grow within this prison system, the spiritual prison system that we are in. A lot of people feel as though they're free and they can have free range to do certain things and activities and go to certain events, and it makes them feel free, you know? But you are not free. Most of us in this society, in this Western society, are not free. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that we have to do, mandatory, to sustain and to live a certain way of life. And then because most of us don't want to be looked at as not normal, we all go through the robotic and the systematic demonic structure in order to look like everybody else. You feel like you need your own house, you go through the steps for that. You feel like you need your own car, you go through the steps for that. You know, it's a lot of things that you got a car, you're paying for insurance. You may have never been in a car accident for 5 years, but you done spent over $5,000-$10,000 on insurance, just giving money away for free. You know, just handing it over. Here you go, here you go, here you go. You know, so there's a lot of things that happen out here that kind of lets us know that we are in a prison system. And to most people, I wouldn't recommend going to prison so you can get the actual physical hard truths of prison, because once you go through there and you're an aware being, you're going to be able to reflect and use that knowledge and information you gained and learned in there and compare and contrast with this situation and the way life is formulating out here. You know what I mean? And you will understand that a lot of us are in prison. When you're in prison, if you're in a women's prison, you don't get to have a whole lot of relationships with men. And if you do, they're outside, they're strained relationships. Same thing with men. When you're in prison, you don't get a whole lot of relationships with women. Yes, there are people that engage with COs. You know what I'm saying? You have conjugal visits at some places. But for the most part, most, 90% do not. So they had to formulate a way to create that concept out here too, in this world where we feel as though we are free. You free, right? You free. How free are you? You know what I mean? And even me just saying free, I keep trying not to say it, but it keeps crossing through my spiritual realm. This whole women are independent thing, right? When I think about the concept of an independent woman, I think of independence being from a male, not from the system. So when people say, yeah, I'm independent, I'm boss bitch, boss chick, I do this, I do that, blah, 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 blah. When females talk like that, they have the ovaries on the outside of their body. The ovaries turn into testicles. You got balls. They turn to the outside. You know, you don't hear a bunch of men saying, oh, I'm independent. That's not what we say is what we do. You know, we're just naturally supposed to grind and be providers and protectors. You know what I'm saying? So outside of us having this prison structure, we also have the system, the spiritual war, breaking down relationships. Our relationships is what held us together through these spiritual warfare times. And that's why you've seen a lot more families and a lot more bonds built back then, before the system started formulating more demonic witch spells. You know what I mean? So it's not the same anymore, you know? And for the ones who keep looking and trying to live life in that space, the world is going to show you that it's not structured that way anymore. You know what I mean? We can get back to living by natural law. Natural law doesn't mean you have to wipe all of this shit out the way. Natural law just means all the shit that's demonic, that's okay, should not be okay. Shouldn't be okay. We shouldn't be teaching people confusion on top of us already being in prison. See, when you got false prophets and people teaching those kind of things, you have to understand, like in a prison state, These are the beings who aren't COs. They just regular people who got locked up and went to prison. but then they work with the COs. They're constantly telling, snitching, you know, they're hawking you and other people to see what the hell they got going on so they can figure out another way to tell and relay the information back. That's how far the system have us gone into their prison system, to the point to where we don't feel as though we need family structures anymore. We don't feel as though we need God or the Creator to be leading us through our principles, morals, and values. You know, so then you have a lot of this independent thing over here, which you gotta think about it, right? If you're not independent from men, what the fuck else are you independent from? If they took away all the, right? Because man has basically took over and took all the hard jobs, from being on skyscrapers thousands of feet in the air, you know what I'm saying, to being underground with thousands and billions of pressure getting ready to apply to them. Just all the grime and dirty jobs, you know what I'm saying? So let's say this yard needed to be cut, right? Man would come out here and cut this grass. Then you would have the women who, because we've already did the physical work, will have some kind of fuck. Not get a break with these planes. It don't matter what time of day it is. It don't matter where I go to. I cannot buy a break. Even I have to keep my ass in the house. Literally gonna have to set up this structure inside my space. So as far as like this prison system, since we don't have the family structure no more holding things together, right? We all know that family ain't your family no more. You know what I'm saying? Blood ain't your blood. It's a lot of things that's happening that we all understand to the highest degree. So if we have all of these things beating on us, right? And the only form of connection that we have is our relationships around us, and the system beats those down as well too. What does that leave us with? What does that leave you with? That leaves you with the Creator, God, and yourself. You know what I mean? And then the very few people that can vibe in your energy or around your energy. It's getting worse and worse and worse, you know? So eventually we got to get to a space to where we can all figure out, how the hell do we work with each other? Clearly the system is beating us down physically, spiritually, energetically. You know what I'm saying? They beating everybody pockets down. Now they turning man against woman, woman against man. You know what I'm saying? So at some point in time, you have to get to a starting point, a ground zero, you know, a space to where you can start to clean shit up. When your house is a mess, where do you start at? Whatever feels the easiest, because you know you got a lot of shit to do and all of it's not going to be easy. Some people like to start with the hardest shit, so that way they can kind of coast and get the easy stuff out the way, because they done already knocked the hard stuff out the way. The point of the matter is that you have to find a starting point somewhere. You know what I mean? And for a lot of us, we can change ourselves and we can help affect our environment, which means that that's why most of us have been focused on relationships. It's not much that we can do about these chemtrails up here. You know what I'm saying? Not as of right this second. If I see a plane flying right now, it's not like I could pull out my plane shooter and be like, oh, get that out there. I don't want you putting no more of this weird witchy shit, dropping it down on us. You know what I'm saying? One day everybody good. You have a full week of chemtrails. Then you got the next week, you might have everybody in the city all burnt out on some weird zombified shit. You know what I'm saying? Everybody running around angry and rage, super frustrated. There's more fear than usual spewing out of you. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's why a lot of us tend to focus more on our relationships opposed from the big system, because all of it affects us, every single piece of it. So it should be important, adamant of us to start understanding what we're dealing with, what's happening, what's going on, and what kind of steps we can take to kind of restructure and readjust what's actually going on out here. We shouldn't want to stay in a sunken place. You shouldn't want to stay in a place where you're paying car insurance when you don't even get into car accidents. How you need money, right? You need money to live. And let's say you, like the rest of Western society out here, most are paychecking to paychecking. I don't give a damn if you get a $5,000 paycheck, you still living maxed at that budget. If you get a $700 paycheck, you living maxed at that budget. That's what that means. It's not saying like if you was making $5,000 every 2 weeks and then you're living on $1,000 budget, that's different. You know what I'm saying? You stacking and you aren't living check to check. But most people are doing that shit exactly where their budgets are at. You know what I mean? So understanding a lot of these things that's transpiring out here, it's like you got to start removing some fear from somewhere. You got to start giving some pushback on this system from somewhere. Like, in car insurance is just one small thing that I always usually like to name. But then you have other stuff as far as like registering your car and your vehicles and all of these things, you know, because your car becomes an identity of you, you know. So they don't have to see you do anything in this car, but your car with your numbers on it will reflect back to you. You know what I mean? So, but that's not the same case if you have a bike. These are where the tricky manipulation tactics come in at. And if you're not aware of it, you're gonna stay in a space to where you are angry, frustrated, you don't know why things aren't flowing for you, but then you looking at society as if this is regular. It's not regular. I'm in a space now to where I realize like most women around my age just got some kind of health issue. Most. It's about 97, 98%. It's maybe like a small 2%. Women are not supposed to be working the way we do. Not the way men do. And it's fucking retarded that y'all lived a life. You're raised as women, right? Your life is structured for you to only work for your family and your tribe. But your household told you you need to be solo. That's what independent means. Solo. If you haven't realized by now, men like to feel wanted and needed. Men like to take care of their people. And I'm speaking of the righteous men, not the demonic men. Yes, it's a lot of demonic men out here that abuse their physical attributes, that abuse their intellect or intelligence. You know what I'm saying? We speaking of the ones who follow righteously in that God body light. You know what I'm saying? The ones who fight in purposes bigger than themselves. Doing things like this and more to help more people in the community and out here in this whole realm and universe. You know what I mean? So, I know y'all could throw that other side out there about the demonic men, right? But it'd be weird for me to get to a space to be like, yeah, I want my daughter to be busting her ass in this prison system. And see her 20 years from now, body start falling apart. Even females that I know that's in shape, I mean really good shape, they still have health issues. Still. And I'm talking about like physical stuff, not stuff that's just spiritually like, oh, it's just mental, I got ADHD, I could change that. No, I'm talking about actual physical shit that's wrong with their body, things that they are getting diagnosed with. They having to go to the witch doctor and get witch spells and opioids and all that stuff to kind of help maintain it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that shortens y'all lifespan. So the more independent you are, right, the shorter your lifespan becomes, because now it's the harder you have to work, when naturally that's not your role, is to be main leading and providing. You're supposed to be working, but you're supposed to be working for your tribe, you know what I'm saying? And that way you can kind of almost work at your own pace, you know? Got another airplane pass. We in a prison structure where the men have become more feminized, women have become more masculine. So in order for man in this prison system to create a better relationship, he would have to have a partner that he could build and grow with. In this prison system, that's not how it's formulated anymore. It's formulated based off of a man already being in a position to provide. He doesn't need to protect, because for some reason people in this witchy ass system feels as though the system is protection, which is fucking weird to me. All these independent women are, is fucking weird to me, right? Because it's like, if somebody really wanted to go around and just send you on to your next journey, they could. Because you don't have the protection that you're supposed to have primary. You have a primary protection, then you are your secondary protection. So you could say I could call the police, but we all know the police are reactionary. They don't prevent anything from happening. What they will do is they'll look for the people who killed you or took you on to your next journey, or who had already, RAPE'd you and put you in a weird space, but that's all after the fact. They say women are intelligent, right? More intelligent than men, so they say. But in this Western society, that cannot be true. Y'all have to be dumber. Y'all have to be dumber. And there's no other way around it, because if you was more intelligent, you wouldn't be getting manipulated by men who aren't in their full position. You would understand things a lot more differently. You wouldn't be choosing your men based off of how men choose women. That's not how it works. You know what I mean? So we can see what's happening with this system when you kind of just let everybody just kind of be without any kind of systematic structure. The creator has a structure we're supposed to be following, but this other system trumped it. You know what I mean? So I don't be telling people to run around and females run around with a bunch of demonic men, but because of the shit we put ourselves in and we allowed ourselves to flow in, you got to focus on the next generation. So since we already know that we some shit and we're just working to do the best that we can, it's not about us anymore, unless we're just doing what we need to do to help out the next generation. The next generation. That's it. You know what I mean? That's where our focus should be at, because they'll have a better time and they could do a better job at breaking down this system better than us, because they actually have teachers there that's present, people who can emotionally connect with them. You know what I'm saying? So it's just understanding a lot of these things, And as far as for the men in this prison system and trying to focus or worry and look at relationships, it's like women don't want to build with you. They don't want to build with you. They don't want to build with me. They don't want to build. Females do not want to build. They want something already established in a providing position. They don't care about protection. Protection, women do not give a fuck about being protected. Most women don't give a fuck about men, and then most women don't have any fucking weapons. They don't have no guns, they don't have no knives, they don't have no pepper spray, they don't know how to fight bigger beings than them. Like, they don't give a fuck about protection the way this system is set up. That's why it's a whole show called Law and Order Special Victim Unit, specialized for weak spirits or people who just got taken advantage of. Because you don't have to be a weak spirit to get taken advantage of. Somebody could just come through and bully you out of your shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's just understanding these things. Like, as independent as you feel you are, you still depend on man. When I call the police, which I never do, but if I had to, I would expect a man to pull up. You know what I'm saying? If I had to call for a fire, I would expect it to be firemen, not firewomen, that can move around and goddamn get the job done. You know what I'm saying? Like, most of the things that we see happening where they feel as though they don't need a physical male in their protection, they're using other men for their protection. So that's how you have to know that a lot of these beings out here are delusional. It's a prison system, and they're trying to figure out the best way to feel comfortable in prison. And in prison, it makes them feel better knowing that they can, quote unquote, say they're they need multiple men. Anybody that says they don't need a man usually have multiple men. Never believe a woman when she says she don't need a man. She has multiple. And I don't give a damn if that's 2 at the minimum. They have somebody, and the ones that's being genuine, that don't have nobody, 10 times out of 10 they got male friends, meaning men that was putting the friends on that probably want some pussy and they just not giving it to them. There's always men in the picture. Even females who say, oh, I don't do men, but they got a gay friend. He's a male. It's the same thing. There's been more delusions created for us to figure out ways to comfort ourselves in this prison system. And because they got hurt by one demonic man and they didn't know how to pick them, the thing is with that shit, right? I couldn't look at all females in that same light, even if I got manipulated by some witches, some witchy witches, you know what I'm saying? Because for me, it's like, oh, okay, now that I'm aware, I realize I didn't pick the ones in the best light. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't in a full providing position, which most of us are not in. Most of us are not in, but most females is not willing to compromise and work with you. And the ones that will compromise and work with you, you got to compromise with the weight. So now you got yourself in a position where you can't even be sexy and pick your girl up because she weighs so fucking much. The system is doing a great job at making sure most people don't realize that they in a prison system. But we are. That's why you wake up angry and frustrated and don't want to go to your job some days, even though you say you love your job. Oh, I love my job. Oh, I don't feel like going today. Not saying you're gonna love going to your job every day, but most of us, when COVID happened, you know, we realized what kind of lifestyle we wanted to live. We realized what kind of lifestyle we didn't want to live. We realized a lot of things that was happening that, you know, we felt like we could adjust differently with our own actions. You know what I mean? So if you're a man out here and you just are trying to figure out self, sometimes it's better to join other men in their purpose, because you do need a man tribe as well too to keep you on your toes. You know what I'm saying? As far as for men, when we have friends, we are pretty brutal to each other. We pretty straightforward. We pretty honest. Like that's just how we work. You know what I'm saying? Like if somebody was being a bitch and let somebody walk over top, and we're gonna, hey man, you was a little bitch in that situation right there. You gotta make sure you respond or say something a little differently. You know what I'm saying? Or we'd be like, man, you was a little bit too aggressive over there. You know what I'm saying? Just try to tone it down a little bit. But we have ways of doing that. There is no soothing somebody for their emotional needs, for them to still be in the same space and not growing any. You know what I mean? And a lot of females got to realize, if a man is already in a providing position and you didn't ride that wave with him, it's more likely of a chance that they won't care as much about you as you would like, because you wasn't through those trials and tribulations with them. Y'all be so quick to skirt off on somebody. And I ain't talking about the demonic ones who just working, the righteous men who do got purpose, the ones who are growing, the ones who are great fathers and present there for theirs. It's a lot of men out here that has been stepping up, you know what I'm saying? And we still are getting stepped on. So with us fighting the system, getting stepped on by the system, then we out here trying to mingle and figure out these relationship thing, we getting stepped on in that process too. Once men get established, you have to understand that's why the dating shit won't get any better. You didn't ride this with us, so now you not gonna get a piece of this. And you definitely can't bring no baggage to the table, because you definitely won't get a piece. So even with me speaking from the righteous mind, I could see where the demons could take full advantage of that situation. See, me, I just don't put myself in that position. I'll keep those inner ideologies and perspectives within myself, and I just know not to crack open those kind of doors with certain beings. You know what I'm saying? Like I just said, if I got stepped on by some other witches, I know to make sure that I pick more wisely, and I have different attributes that I look for and qualities I look for first. You know what I'm saying? As far as for women, y'all gotta look for one who is following the creator. You know what I'm saying? And the one that's on purpose. Those are the first two things I would look for. Do you follow the creator? Are you on your purpose? Do you follow the Creator? Are you on your purpose? The way society was set up before, protection was more important, and then providing was secondary. Now it's set up to where providing is first, and you don't need protection. That's why you can see a bunch of women with a bunch of simp-ass, soft-ass, bitch-ass men. They cannot protect anything, but they can provide. They can provide, they can provide, they can provide. But they are not the whole package of protection. If everything started to hit the fan, if somebody pulled up on you and your mans, he not gonna stand solid. It's not his character, you know? He's a provider, not a protector. You're not getting the whole package. You're getting a quarter of the package and wondering why women are getting with men who can provide and are good men. Ain't got really nothing to do with them being good men or bad men. They just providers. They are not protectors. You know what I'm saying? It's just that simple. And we have to understand, like, a lot of us is just trying to wiggle around and figure out what works for us to help soothe us while we're going through this warring process. You know what I'm saying? But if you are coming into anybody's light that's moving in that God light, just know that you have to know your role, your position, and what you bringing to the table. Stop always talking about what the fuck you looking for. You know what I'm saying? Everybody always talking about what they looking for. I'm looking for. What the fuck can you bring to the table? What can you bring to the table? You know what I mean? Like, I'm a brown male out here, and I clearly fight against the system, publicly and behind the scenes. But every female that comes to the door is coming to, I can at least say, try to destroy me, because there's no way that you don't see what I'm doing, understand life, the realm, and reality, and still come at me with this demonic energy. It's not possible. It's not possible. It's not possible. That's why it only can come from the demonic team. So just understanding, y'all, we in a prison system. They got us all fighting each other. We are all fighting each other when we all supposed to be working together. We should be working together and not fighting each other. We got enough of that shit going on. You know what I'm saying? How you gotta fight the person in your house, leave out. Now you done got frustrated with a driver that's random on the road. Now you done got another frustration from the store clerk. Now you get to work, you know what I'm saying? And somebody at the job somewhere, I don't know, higher up, low down, doesn't make a difference, done got in your skin and frustrated you some more. Let's say you doing what I'm doing. You trying to put some content out as well too. And now your camera's having problems, your SD card not working, your batteries are low, planes is flying all over the place. You got all kind of other interferences that's coming in the way. You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot to have to manage and deal with. What do you bring to the table? You know what I'm saying? We in a prison cell, you know what I'm saying, where we got a lot of space to roam, but it's still a prison system. That's why you cannot do everything that you want to do. That's why you have to get a lot of money in order to travel around and do certain things. It has become the norm, but that hasn't always been the norm. When you wanted to travel, if you could build a boat, you could travel. That's how it used to be. Or if you knew somebody with a boat and you had some resources you could trade off, boom. That's not the case anymore. Now you have to get large lump sums of money in order to get the kind of resources you needed to make that exchange happen. We got to get back to some decent and some normal, natural, wholehearted, empathetic, grounding roots. It's the only way to ground yourself in a prison system. You still got to stand solid on your belief system in the prison system. That's how you stay a real nigga. You got to stay grounded in it, you know what I mean? But we all in this prison system. We have to stop fighting each other, you know what I'm saying? Women got to do a better job at picking their men and understanding the shit that you do come with. Yes, you may have a good heart. You do. But if you on the plus size and you got an extra child, then you just know that you ain't gonna get what the fuck you looking for. It's just that simple. You fucked up when you was younger, and now you just gotta learn from it. Not saying you're not gonna get anybody, because all women have plenty of options coming to them. It's just they so choosy of which ones. Just weed out only the demons, find out the God body ones, and then you can start figuring out, okay, I want to drop the handkerchief in front of this one. Don't look for no nigga to chase you. You got to figure out how to make yourself present in the view. You got to put yourself in the vision. If you don't put yourself in the vision, men that's moving like me or higher is not running around chasing, looking for you. You have to put the signs on the table. Say hi. Smile. I get tired of seeing all these angry bitch faces. You know, and when I see an angry bitch face, I say demon, because there's no way that your resting face is demonic. I don't give a fuck what you got going on. You know what I'm saying? That's just, you should already know, you may be fighting the battle. You willing to put makeup on, so you should be willing to smile, motherfucker. That's how I feel. Most men do things that women like. That's what we do. That's how it's always been. That's why we get women. Women are doing shit that men don't like, and then telling us we supposed to accept it. No. Like, it's hundreds of million videos on about women putting on all this makeup and shit. Men don't like it, women still do it and tell us we supposed to accept it. No, how about your insecure ass stop putting the shit on? You want a man, right, of a certain caliber. Another airplane. You want a man of a certain caliber, right? But that's not going to happen because you do not know what the fuck men want. You want what you want, how you want it, when you want it. It's not going to happen. These are the delusional people that live on social medias, you know, and they're not in this reality. For me, I know I'm not going to be a fat ass and then make it seem like, oh yeah, all women like fat people. Or I'm not going to be like some bum living on the street and feel like, oh yeah, all women like bums, you know what I'm saying? Or I wanted to be a bum, so she should still talk to me anyways because I'm a bum and this is what I wanted to do. You gotta accept me as I am. It's fucking delusional. It's fucking delusional. It's delusional. Simple process. Oh, I do it because I like it. So stop saying that you're looking for a man, because you're not. Stop saying that you want a relationship or a husband, because you don't. You want shit your way. You want to find the right feminized provider to step into the position. You want to find the right feminized provider to step into the position. You need the right feminized provider to step into the position. You don't want no goddamn real man and no leader, because if not, if you did, you would be doing what the other women around the world have been doing. Okay, each culture understands what the man in that culture likes. I don't give a damn if you on a tribe that doesn't have cameras and TVs. Those women still know that, okay, culturally, all the women over here shave their heads. So when they start getting to a certain age, they shave their head as well too, because they know that that's what the men like. They want to get chose, they do what the fuck the men like. Simple process. They not saying, oh yeah, he should just like me with this shit right here. Like, you are the spiritual being having a human experience. So that means, what kind of being are you on the inside to be in that kind of perspective and concept? You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of shallow, surface level conversations of it, but it's always deeper. It's always deeper. You know what I'm saying? When I go to the pool, or if I'm getting ready for the beach and I know I want some biddies to look at me, which I work out anyways, I'm gonna make sure I go do some push-ups and extra workouts to make sure that my shit is like a little bit so that way when I walk past for the niggas who not working out, the bitches be like, oh, he work out. When we do the things that women like, it makes us stand out more. When women do the things that men like, it makes them stand out more. But in this prison system, that's not what's happening. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna run it up too long. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know the vibes. Tapping everything down below. Peace and love to the kings and queens.